welcome to What Are You Saying? #Ways, where we discuss topics in the news as it affects us all. My name is Sheyi Olayera, and you know, I'm not alone in the studio today. I am with Alera, Mary, and NJ. What's that our name again? So what should remind? Okay, should I keep short? Oh, you should remember. Okay, let's just move.
We know.
How you ladies
the
doing?
cool gang.
Yeah, the cool
Yeah,
gang,
cool
right? How you ladies doing?
Doing good.
Alero,
doing good.
how are you?
Good. I'm fine.
The rain, did it disrupt anything you had
Just
to do today?
network. Just
Oh,
network.
right.
The network was a bit wonky for the
And it
whole of
added
the
to the
day.
traffic.
I was
No, people are
Lagos
usually...
rain traffic. I mean, you can't
usually
take it
there's
away from each
traffic,
other.
but when it rains,
It's worse.
always
it's like
worse.
people become damp.
No, and then again, the drainage system is
Yes,
horrible.
Yeah,
streets
the
are
so
roads
flooded.
Yeah.
And people
Absolutely.
are slower, there's a lot.
I
Well,
can imagine. there's just this brain. For me, whenever it rains and I have to work, I'm always expecting like a downtime.
yeah.
Because back there, when I used to
Exactly.
work in the bank and work at Jimmy at the time, once it's raining like this, the network will be bad. So we'll just be waiting there. Oh, no work today. Please, let's-" But impossible. You will still work.
Interesting.
There was network in my office today, though.
Mary, how are you? I love your nails.
Mary is always giving us.
She's always giving us, cool
Love.
styles.
We need to know who your
nails.
stylist
She's always
is.
giving
Who's your
you
stylist?
love.
Me, I'm
Luxury.
my stylist.
Like, look at her hair.
So how are you now? How are you doing? How was your day?
I'm okay. I had a very chill day. I don't know. I just really can't be bothered about anything right now. Because
I like
God.
Mary. She does not allow anything stress her. See, whatever
Please, you need to teach
happens.
me
I
how to
cannot
not be
even stress
bothered.
myself at all.
No.
I really like that about you.
has to be
Actually,
a
it's
balance
a
in
positive attitude. I mean, you.
I don't know if I
You try
like
not
that
to be
about myself,
bothered.
but okay.
You see,
But I mean, it's
that's the
fine,
funny thing
yeah.
about life. Here you are, wanting to be in her shoes.
Right.
Here she is, wanting to swap shoes. So,
Interesting. Angie, how are you doing?
I'm good.
How
I'm
was your
doing
day?
great. My dear.
Always.
So I started this thing that I do that I've started my own personal styling. So I try to add something.
Oh,
And
nice.
sometimes, I saw this post on Instagram that showed the difference between wearing an outfit and actually styling an
Yeah.
outfit. And this is like, I can do some things of my own.
Love it.
That really sounds good.
That's a lucrative job right there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's not like you should put your outfits together, like your fits together when you style them. Just like, a little outfit of the
Girl,
day.
you're going too far. We'll leave it at this for
OTD,
now.
Hashtag, put it on Instagram.
You want to chase her
It's
away.
just like this
Then
for
tag
now.
all those
No, outfit of the
handles
day.
that
I'll just
repost
message
stuff
you
like
every
that.
day.
Like
What
I
the
said,
outfit
for
today.
now, it's just like this.
When you blow, you shall remember that we're there giving you advice.
gang.
The
I
cool
would
gang,
never
we're there.
forget
Share
you.
your talent.
All right, so here, in fact, I'm going to be upset again. People did not ask me how I'm doing.
Oh.
But it's fine. Every time, last week, I begged you
Oh,
people
yeah,
to ask me how I was
sorry.
doing.
Yeah, sorry.
But it's fine. Let's go to what we found.
You're wearing this
I'm all
beautiful
right.
green dress. Just tell us.
Thank
green
you.
eyeshadow. Everything
Wow,
is
green
completed.
again.
I'm
Green
all right.
again.
I'm all right. I'm
Nice,
okay.
nice.
All right. So here's
That's
what we
good.
found as today's quote: "Human rights are women's rights, and women's rights are human rights." This quote. Human rights. I love how spot on this quote is. All right, so the proposed marriage of 100 orphan girls by the Speaker of the Niger State House of Assembly has sparked controversy and legal action. The Minister of Women Affairs has petitioned the Inspector General of Police and sought a court injunction to halt the planned marriages. The situation raises complex ethical, legal, and social questions regarding the rights of orphan girls, the responsibilities of public officials, and the role of cultural practices in modern society. It is Ladies' Night on Ways, and we are discussing the topic, the proposed marriage of 100 orphaned girls. And when we open our phone lines, we'll be more than excited to hear what you have to say. But first, let's go for this quick break. When we come back, we'll take what is in the news. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching What Are You Saying? #Ways. I'm really excited about today because we're celebrating International Day of the Boy Child, May 16th. It was founded in 2018 and focuses on boys and their well-being, their needs to feel happy, healthy, and valued within family and community. The observance for 2024 is themed Cool Boys, teaching boys how to manage anger and aggression. Managing anger and aggression is a crucial skill for boys to learn, as these emotions, if not properly handled, can lead to negative outcomes in personal, academic, and social context. Boys often face societal pressures to exhibit toughness and suppress vulnerability, which can exacerbate feelings of anger and aggression. Educating boys on healthy emotional management is essential for their overall well-being and development. I'm really excited that we are talking about International Boys Day because I remember when it was International Girls Day, I was on set. And we're talking about how women have a lot of holidays. International Girls Day, International Women's Day. Mother's Day was last week. We had another one in my church like 3 weeks ago. It's Mother's Day. We've had like 5 Mother's Day this year. And oh my God, why?
You feel like men are not being
Exactly.
celebrated
I feel that men are not being celebrated
And they're
enough.
very important.
Yes,
Very.
See,
Very
the
important.
statistics of men who commit suicide, it is very
a lot.
alarming.
It's a
It's a
lot.
lot.
Yeah.
Especially in this part of the country where, so I have a friend, his dad died. He's the only boy. So during the burial, he was crying. I mean, his dad. And one of his uncles said, "Why are you crying? You are the boy, you are the man." And he's not even the firstborn. He's like the middleborn. And he was asked not to cry. And you can imagine what that does to you. You cannot express
Yes.
how you're feeling. Me, if I'm hungry like this, you see it on my face. Women are very expressive. Like,
Yeah,
But
I am.
men,
See,
men are taught to
men are taught to hold it in.
So for me, I feel like in most recent times, a lot of men people have been showing support for a lot of men.
true.
And I mean, I remember one of my podcasts that I actually did, I was amplifying how to appreciate men and men being
Good.
overlooked.
Love it.
But again, another thing that I think that we should focus on is that some of this, what's the word I'm going to call it? Some of this, I don't want to call it an attack, but some of these words that you hear, like be a man, you have to be man enough, be tough. To me, I feel like it's an attack. And most of these things come from men to themselves because they feel like I'm not, or rather celebrating the boy. Like Angel mentioned. So great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's very important. Like Alara said, bringing forth that awareness, creating that awareness to let people know that these are human beings first of all, and if we say human rights or we say equal rights, it's the same feelings, the same blood flows through our veins, and we feel the same emotions. So it's important for us not to always look at men as always having to be so strong. Being so strong does not mean that you do not get a chance to express your emotions.
100%.
These are things that we have to put to the table. Men also feel, men get hurt, men get bitter, men get aggressive. It's everything for every human being. So we should always know that and bear that in mind sometimes when we want men to always be men. So what happens to their emotions?
Exactly.
So it's very important.
One more thing I wanted to just say, the way we are focusing on the girl child, teaching her how to be a good wife or be a good mother.
Thank you.
In the kitchen, the girl is the one that will wash the dishes, go to the market, cook food for everybody. And the boy is probably in the living room playing
Watching
soccer.
TV.
Exactly. So I feel like now everybody should just focus on their boys as much as they're focusing on their girls.
Yes.
Nowadays, pedophiles are mostly, they said most of the time, it's always men that always, if you don't teach them in their early age, they grow up to become,
And those are the people that these women are going to end up with.
Oh, God.
Okay. Absolutely. All right.
Green.
So, quickly, let's take what's in the news. I'll start with Mary.
Okay. My favorite Nigerian artist,
Who is that?
Damini Ibon.
Oh, really?
Anyways,
Brother boy.
yeah, I don't know if it's banter, but he came online as usual with his Indian hemp, and he has said that he's not ready to have kids, and that's because he has a busy life schedule, and he has seen the way you know, his mother loves him, his mother takes care of him. He has seen the way his father has shown love to him as well. And he's saying that if he cannot give that exact form of love to a child, then he would just rather not have kids. And I think that's very
good.
that's very interesting. That's understandable, and I mean, know
That
yourself.
makes a lot
know
of
thyself.
sense. I love that.
To be honest,
Yeah.
I feel like that is the best advice that will come out of social media or anywhere this year.
Yeah.
Because most of people, I think people just think that, oh, it's
When you get to a certain
you just
stage,
have to get married, just to have to have a
yes,
child.
yeah.
Then
And everybody has to be called the parent.
you have not finished being all right in your head, and you want to
Yeah.
now take care of another human
Absolutely.
being. It's crazy.
That's why it's my fan.
All right, so
Well,
Angie, do you want to go next? Don't worry, we'll talk about it after the show.
let me not
we'll
say
continue
anything.
conversation after the show.
Okay,
All
so
right,
let me
then.
take my news story. So my story is very interesting. I found it on the internet, and it says a man who disappeared 27 years ago at the age of 17 was found alive 200 meters from his family's home inside a neighbor's cellar.
27 years.
Yes.
Of his
so,
life
as you
gone.
can see, this video captures the moment that a man who was kidnapped as a teenager nearly 30 years ago was found in the cellar of a neighbor's home. Omar bin Omaran vanished in Algeria when he was 17. His family assumed their missing loved one had died during the civil war between Algerian government and various Islamic rebel groups. That was until Sunday when Omar, now 45 years old, was discovered in the 61-year-old. Shocking footage shows when he was helped out of the cellar, where he was allegedly hidden since 1997
Who's this person?
at the property
1997.
only yards away from his family home where he grew up. 1997.
I don't know how I feel about
Hey,
this.
gosh.
I'm not sure the whole. I don't know if I should go through the whole story, because the thing is, it's so surprising, because I'm sure that when they carry out investigations, they'll probably be able
Search
to find out, because it begs to wonder, like it marvels the mind for you to think of how you can think that your son was dead for over 27 years, only to find out that he has been living down the street in your neighbor's cellar. And I also would like to know, I think from the investigations, we'll get to find out what transpired. I think that's the word I'll use. What transpired? How was he found? That's
I'd
one.
really love to
And then
know
how
this
did he go
information.
missing for 27 years? If he's in someone's cellar, does that mean that for 27 years
Nobody
he
has
hasn't seen
entered.
sunlight, or no one has
Exactly.
entered that home? Or do you understand? There's so many things around it that I would
1
love
year is
to
a
know.
long
He
time.
wants
Talk
to
less
run
of
away.
27
No,
years.
the funny thing is that you know how some of these homes have basements that nobody goes to.
For 27 years.
I mean, it's possible. There are some people's lives that are like that.
And so how was he surviving?
Who is the abductor? There's so much questions to ask.
So many
There are
questions.
too many
but
questions
yeah,
to add.
we
It's
hope
crazy.
to get more information
Yeah,
on that.
once I'm sure they are undergoing
Yeah.
investigations, and
I hope
they'll
he's fine. Like
the news will
mentally.
come out.
Mentally, he cannot be
cannot
fine.
be
No,
fine.
he cannot
No,
be
he
fine.
can't.
Okay, so Alero, what do you have for us?
So my news for today is, talking about NJ complaining about the traffic and all of that. I came across this post yesterday. In Switzerland, a mobile overpass bridge is used to carry out road work without stopping traffic. This innovative solution, implemented by the Switzerland Federal Road Office, involves placing a temporary elevated highway over the road under repair. This setup allows road work to continue underneath while traffic moves above, ensuring minimal disruption to commuters. The mobile construction site, known as Astra Bridge, has been a successful use in the A1 motorway in the direction of Zurich. God, when?
Real good when? Because
When
this
I
is
saw
really
this,
good.
that was the first thing
Very
that came to my mind. Like,
innovative.
it's super, like you wouldn't even notice that is a temporary bridge.
Honestly.
And just to see the amount of work that is going on under that bridge. Like, I'm sure that, like, this is not going to take a long time to be completed. That's number one. Number two, the citizens of that country, it's the dream. So again, God, when?
this is really good.
I don't. You
Excited.
really don't want to hear the answer to that question.
Please don't let us stay too much on that. Okay, so let's go for this quick break. When we come back, we will continue the conversation. Do stay with us.
First of all, your lack of sleep is affecting your appetite. Okay? Because you not getting enough sleep is actually affecting your hormones, the hormones that, that regulate your appetite, your hunger and satiety. Do you understand? So your lack of sleep is already causing havoc in terms of your weight, in terms of your eating, in terms of your productivity, in terms of your brain power. So many things. You're more irritable, you're snappy. It's affecting relationships. It's affecting so many things. So this our lifestyle is actually not helping us. And so but what we do, we have to be intentional. So that's the first thing, is to be intentional and say, you know what, I cannot kill myself. I cannot kill myself. I have to actually take my health and my life into my hands. Okay, so that's first step. So.
Thank you for staying with us. You're still watching What Are You Saying? #Ways. The Minister of Women Affairs, Uju Kennedy Ohanenye, has begun moves to stop the plan by the Speaker of the Niger State House of Assembly, Abdulmalik Sakin Daji, to marry off 100 orphan girls in the state. She said on Monday that she had reported the case to the police by petitioning the Inspector General of Police, IGP, Kayode Egbetokun, and sought a court injunction to stop the plan pending the completion of investigations. Mr. Sakin Daji announced his plan to marry off the orphan girls who lost their parents due to banditry attacks in Mariga local government area. All right, so female child marriage is a critical and deeply concerning issue. I mean, it's a practice that affects millions of young girls worldwide, which robs them of their childhood, it robs them of their education, it robs them of their future. And when I read this news, I don't know how I felt, but it was really sad because these children have lost their parents, the people that they call father and mother. They are all alone, and now the government, or rather a speaker in the House, is asking them to, is asking them to get married at a young age. All right, so first of all, I'd like to ask, have you ever witnessed a child marriage before?
Witness, no.
Or know somebody that...
No, I do not. Mostly, except I see it in the news or I hear another person's experience. Mostly people from that region.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for like somebody like me, I served, well, like it's not central, I served in Kwara State. I heard that it happens a lot there, but I never witnessed or experienced it. So anybody else, or it's just...
When you say witness,
like have you
want to see like the ceremony?
No,
or
not
what?
the ceremony, but like you've seen maybe
Like
a
you know
very
someone.
young girl.
No.
Yes. You've not? Okay.
No.
Okay, awesome. All right. So I want us to look at the legal aspect of all of this, right? So the speaker, he's saying that this is a constituency project for this May 2024 to marry off these children. And let me read the Child Rights Act of 2003. Give me a second. It says Section 31 of the Child Rights Act 2003 provides as follows. 1. No person shall have sexual intercourse with a child. A person who contravenes the provision of subsection 1 of this section commits an offense of rape and is liable on conviction to imprisonment for life. So I want us to talk on the legal aspect. Do you think it is within the rights of the speaker to organize such marriage? This is a speaker of, he's a speaker in the Niger State House of Assembly. right? And this is a constituency project for him. So what are your thoughts on this?
So if I'm to jump right into this, first of all, when you say you're doing a constituency project, it's supposed to be something that empowers the constituents. Yeah?
Right.
It's supposed to be something that creates an opportunity, however it may be,
For improvement.
For development, and
Yeah.
for things like that.
For progress.
Thank you. So when you tell me that a constituency project is to marry off
100 orphan girls.
To prevent fornication.
Yes. To prevent fornication.
And poverty. Now, first of all, you have no authority over those girls. You are not a guardian or a parent to those girls. Those girls have family members that should have the right and guardianship when it comes to decision making as to what pertains to the life of those girls, because they are the caretakers. Now, you tell me that maybe the poverty situation, the family is not able to cater for the kids. What happened to putting together a constituency project to educate
or train them
in different lines and craft so that they become business women and become independent and are able to take care of their family? Until such a time where they decide that they want to be married off. Exactly. I understand that there's the traditional part of it, but I am sorry. This has nothing to do with tradition. This was not done by the imam. I don't know if you understand. It wasn't done by a traditional leader in the constituency. It was... So I would love to understand the modalities that led to this kind of decision as a constituency project. Because I feel like, to end that, I would just say, the question I would ask is, if they were male and not female.
They're actually males.
Who are going to be married off to females also?
No. I'm saying that like they are orphaned
female
and male. So I'm saying that they are only focusing.
That's what I'm saying. So what is the plan for the orphan males? Are they going to be married off to women also? Exactly. Or is the decision to pair them together? I don't get it.
These are the stereotypes that we always talk about. So, well, Mary, do you have anything to say on that?
I think I'm slightly controversial to what like everybody thinks, and that's because of their tradition.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's not a new thing in the northern parts for them to marry off, the girl child, even at an early age. And even till now, I think it's something that still actively happens there. Now, these girls are orphaned. You spoke about their caregivers. Obviously, their caregivers do not care that much to take the responsibility, of saying, oh, okay, we will train. In the northern parts, even training and empowering women is not a thing. So I can understand why, when we say, instead of the government to say, well, rather than marry them out, let's empower them, it's already not, the women take a step back in the northern part. So I think it will be totally different or absurd to hear that, the government now comes and says, oh, we want to empower these ladies. So I think the next best decision for them will be, we already do this as a tradition. Let's not delay anymore while they're still young. You marry them out.
Okay, go ahead.
I feel like it feels, morally wrong to us because that is not what we are used to in this side of Nigeria.
I absolutely get you, but because it is culturally right there, doesn't make it morally right. Do you get my point?
Or legally?
Legally, morally.
Yeah, but they have no legal... their legal caretakers, are they coming up to say, oh, okay, you know what? I don't want this to be happen to my guardian.
They can't say anything.
Why can't they say anything?
You already stated it now. It's people like us that are in this region that
Yeah,
have it.
like,
That
so-
actually, because it's really absurd.
Yeah, do you
It's
understand?
insane.
So for them, that's like the next best thing. So I'm pretty much sure even the caregivers at some point are also going to say, let's marry this our girl child away.
Okay, all right,
So,
so-
if the government is now coming and saying, oh, okay, this is what we want to do, I'm pretty much sure they're even seeing it as help. The government is helping these ladies.
Okay, so I want us to touch on the health risk of these children marrying early. These children are under 18. Some of them might not have started seeing their menstruation. They might have infections because, I mean, the person that is going to marry them is obviously going to be an adult. So the person would want to, in quotes, know this child. And according to the Child Rights Act, it says no person shall have sexual intercourse with a child. I want to believe that the constitution of a country supersedes any state's law or rule. I want to believe that. I may be wrong, but I want to believe that's what it is. Yeah. So now, the child gets married. You are opening that child to domestic violence because obviously these children are, some of them might be 10 years old. Do you know how ridiculous an old man is knowing them? Do you know how disturbing that is?
But so what we should ask ourselves is, how was it done, okay, without the government saying that, the girl child should marry at an early age?
It's already been done.
It's already been done, and how is it being done?
So I
doesn't
think,
make it
I
right.
think what is raising attention is the fact that it's coming from
the government.
Exactly.
To orphaned
It's not
kids.
from
like
the imams
and
or
now
the religious
again,
leaders.
Orphan kids.
Meaning,
they don't nobody.
maybe before they had a little bit of choice, but now it's like
They have no choice
they don't have
anymore.
any choice at all. I think that's why it's raising, alarm. But then I think they can marry these girls and not even
You wish.
have intercourse
You wish.
till the appropriate age.
You wish.
I don't
They
know,
might
I
say
think
it,
that's
but
how it's
trust me.
done.
No, there's no need to say they might. I mean, the pictures that are already being shown on the screen, you can see how tiny those girls are.
Very little girls.
You can see how, like, and I know that there are some nurses and doctors, when they explain the way, mostly the ones that are working in those regions, when they see even formed fully, they don't carry it to full term.
What?
It's insane. And for me, I'm like, if an adult man wants, like you as an adult man, you want to marry this child, like, how do you feel? If this person was your child, would you allow it?
They marry up their children too, so
Like
It's
Mary
insane.
said,
That's the sad
there's the traditional part of
that's
it.
the
And
the
I
problem.
think for me, there are certain areas we can actually, I think looking at it from the legal angle, just like Shay said, the law supersedes tradition. There's been a lot of like media backlash, people for and against.
yeah.
Now, people for, obviously, based on traditions. Yeah? But the law is saying the female and the girl child have rights. And those rights are being violated.
100%.
And hence the reason why they had to go to court
Yeah.
in order to try and to stop the event from happening.
Happening.
And I think that there is a reason. There's so many reasons. I know that there's a traditional point of it. But like Shay also said, the fact that it's tradition don't make it right.
Doesn't make it right.
And it doesn't make it fair either. Because at this point, they are using the fact that they're orphans. And they have no choice. Even if they have family members, which family member who cannot afford a 3 square meal would not allow you to take their child away
Right.
for a seemingly better life? Nobody has assured us that their life is actually going to be better. Nobody has assured us that the people who they're getting married to are well enough to look after them.
Right.
But everyone just feels that putting a girl child in subjecting her to marriage means that she becomes someone else's responsibility. But that is what I'm saying, that before that can even happen, she was already, somebody should have been responsible enough, like a family member or something. But due to poverty and what is called, so understand, what we need to understand is why this is even happening. A lot of people prey on certain things like this. I am not saying, I'm not disputing tradition. But I'm saying that there are some people who are now using this for benefits.
Yes, sure.
Because for him to be proposing something like this as a constituency project is almost like when, I'm sorry to say this, but it's almost like when some commissioners in some certain states during COVID-19 did tap with leg this thing, press,
So they did something.
and said that they were doing it for constituency, and some people put bathtub on the highway and put a sink on the highway and put a large container of water and said people should be fetching water to wash their hand on the streets. That is a constituency project, but that does not make it the most sensible project you can do.
It doesn't.
There are other things that the constituents need, and I think that should be paid attention
Absolutely. Let me read this. Sorry, Alero. Let me read this quote by the Minister of Women Affairs, who has taken this, to the court. Mrs. Uju Kennedy. She says, these children must be considered. Their future must be considered. The future of the children to come out of their marriage must be considered. All right, so let's take this quick break. When we come back, we will continue the conversation. Do stay with us.
You know how I always say that people, you just get pregnant, you have a child, and you think you're automatically qualified to be called a parent. No. Parenting is it requires a lot of skill. And it's the same thing with family, right? Handling a family unit, it requires a lot of capacity, because part of the biggest challenge that we have today as a people is because we have fundamental problems in the home. The child was not raised properly, takes it out on work, takes it out on colleagues, takes it out on the society, it's the same thing. So that's why you need to really have well-rounded, well-balanced people right from the family unit, yeah.
Welcome back. If you're just tuned in, we are discussing the proposed marriage of 100 orphaned girls. Just before the break, we introduced the disturbing proposal by the Speaker of the Niger State House of Assembly to marry off 100 orphaned girls as part of his constituency project. This has sparked outrage and legal action, with the Minister of Women Affairs petitioning the Inspector General of Police and seeking a court injunction to halt the planned marriages. Please let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation by sending us an SMS or a WhatsApp message to 081-8038-4663. I'll read it again, 081-8038-4663. Our phone line is now open, and would really love to hear your voice on this matter. Please call us on 070-25007749. 070-25007749. Okay. So, I want us to elaborate. I know we've already touched on this, but what measures do you think are essential for the government to do to safeguard these young, vulnerable children? Because right now, they don't have a say. They will cry, they will do, but nothing would happen. So what do you think the government, the president of Nigeria, what can he do?
President of Nigeria?
Yes, I mean...
You know what is making me a bit, amazed, what is making us amazed? It's in the law. So despite the national law prohibiting it,
they are still
going on. And it's so sad that this is happening in the rural areas whereby there are poor people and the poor families, they don't have anything that they can do about it. They don't have a choice but to allow their children go. I was reading something just now. Raquel Daniel escaped being married off as a teenager when her father died and now ran off to a non-profit helping children, especially less privileged girls. So she actually ran away from home, and then our other family members now got involved, and that's the only reason why that couldn't happen. And then somebody was able to sponsor her. She was just 16. At least she was
What country did this happen?
This happened in Nigeria.
Oh, really?
It happens in Nigeria. She said that the ability for women to avoid being forced to get married has to, like, because there are so many people that have grown, so many women that their past, if you really hear their story about how their father died, their father was probably in debt, and then one of their uncles or somebody would just say, okay, you know what, to clear your father's debt, you have to marry this person.
Yeah, they do that.
And a lot of the time, like, I can imagine how most of these children feel, mostly when they know that there's nothing that can
They
be
don't
done.
have a voice.
And to them, they might not even know that this is against the law. It's a normalcy around them. It's really insane, though, but we'll just hope that the petition that was passed, we'll see what will happen with this one, because now that it is a national issue, everybody is talking about it, but what can happen?
What can be done?
You know, there's some arguments that can go for. Yeah? Don't bite me.
But go ahead.
There's some arguments that can go for. And what will I say? In certain, this situation is not just peculiar to Nigeria.
Of course.
There's the Brazilian, there's a group wedding that they do regularly in Brazil.
I think in India too.
In
I read
India,
it
there's
somewhere.
some other, in India and some other countries. And they do it for different reasons. For some people, they do it because they want to tie, you know, how will I put it? You know, communities, your community, my community, like creating a bond, like communal bonds. In those days, it used to be used like a way of payment. When they say, I betroth, you know, when my daughter, when she's of age, your son will marry my daughter. It was there since during, like, time immemorial. It was used as like almost like an agreement between two families, two nations. Your prince will marry my princess, so that our countries or our nations will never go to war.
We see it in movies a lot.
Yeah, and it was all. I think part of the reason why they want to do something like this is also to transfer dependency from even like the government to whoever they marry you off to, and to kick out like things like isolation. You know, being an orphan, you get to you especially if you're one that maybe you didn't have a large family, maybe you are the only kid. There's a lot of isolation, and you find yourself all alone, hard to make friends, because you're still going through the stigma of losing both your parents and nobody to cater for you, and you're still thinking about what you do. So I'm sure that for that stigma and that isolation was one of the reasons. But there are so many. Our argument tonight is that there are so many reasons against, and which is like, first of all, the rights of the child. The fact that you're trying to say that they have no right for themselves. You're making decisions for them, and I think that is wrong.
Without their consent.
Without their consent. And I think that they should be involved in all this. And I also feel that there are other avenues that this thing could have been carried out. There's so many things you can take them to. I know that Mary rightfully said that in the northern part of Nigeria, we're not bothered about education and things like that. But then again, the world is changing, and the world has changed over time. Every individual has a choice now. I know that, yes, it's still predominantly chosen for you most of the time. But there are over the years, there are long-term effects of this on even the girl child. There are long-term events, and some of them are psychological. Most of them are psychological. There are also the physical and the health matters.
I wanted to quickly
So
ask.
these are things that you cannot avoid. These are individuals, and I think that these points are things that we should take into cognizance before making decisions like this.
Exactly.
We should care about looking for the best solution that ends up in the best result. Not the best solution for the moment that ends up in the destruction of someone's mental and physical health.
Absolutely, absolutely. And okay, go ahead.
I was going to ask a question. In the north,
Nigeria.
when people do something that is wrong, like steal and all that, there are repercussions for it, right? With what I read today, the reason for this is to prevent fornication, right? So why can't we come up with something that will say, if, let's say, you get pregnant or maybe you are caught fornicating, this is the repercussion for it. You probably will be jailed. I mean, there should be a consequence. Like, if you're really trying to avoid that for them because they are young, then why can't we think of a drastic, not marrying them off, like something that's beyond their control as a human, like you're violating their human rights. They can't do anything about it.
The right thing to be thinking about for these young children.
The future of tomorrow.
I'm not saying that things don't happen, but I don't think this will be on their mind, you know, having, in quotes, you know what I want to say?
Yeah.
Do you get? But yes, I agree with if this thing happens, if you are caught doing this, because I mean they have really what they call
Very
Sharia
strict,
laws,
yes.
you know those
Like,
laws.
why is this
yes,
not applied
so
there?
I feel they can even apply that, even if it might not be the best option.
Fornication is different from adultery.
Eh, but
You're not married yet
You're
now.
not married now. It's-
So no, because you were saying
you are continuing.
like if they're married now, it's not going to be
No,
considered
so they are saying
fornications.
No.
Do you understand?
Eh,
So
We get that, but that's not the
they are
best approach.
preventing it.
before,
So yeah.
but they're not married. That's why they're preventing fornication. So the unmarried teenagers, they don't want them to fornicate.
So what them are not
That's
even
why.
teenagers?
Your married teenagers cannot fornicate now. You have to be married for you to fornicate.
No, you have to be
No,
married for
to
you to
adultery.
commit adultery. Adultery is when you're married. Fornication is
Okay.
when you are single and you are messing around. So you get the gist, right?
Every day is a learning curve.
Yes, it is. But I kind of agree with Alero.
No.
Like, find something, a punishment that
think that
would
there are
be.
other methods
Yes,
that
there are
can
other
be
methods.
used.
Marriage is too, like,
It's just
please,
like when a child messes up and they're like, I'll kill you.
you cannot kill the
Like,
child.
You're supposed to correct. Like, so what is the lesson that you're like?
How
like
does the
just
child
so-
learn? Yeah.
They just around this time. It's time. Type of thing. 12 tomorrow. Tomorrow, what opportunity are we to change lives?
Kitchen,
Yeah.
belong. Yeah, it's just really sad because we are.
The people that are even supposed to be protected.
That we are this exposed. Maybe even in Lagos
We are
and stuff.
exposed. I feel that that's
Trust
what
me.
is
See, if we sorry to interrupt. If we keep saying because we're in Lagos, something has to be done. These people have been
That's
doing
why
this
we
for
have, like,
years.
NGOs and stuff. Like
And you know-
this is the opportunity
Yeah.
for
For them
them
to-
to actually, speak up.
I agree.
Because the battle for this has been
Yes.
on. It didn't start today.
Yeah.
It didn't start yesterday. Do you understand? So, and it's not going to end today as well.
Absolutely.
Well, all we can say is, like the NGOs,
Where's the food going to? Secondly, why are you eating so much, right? You know, so now, I mean, it's almost 10 years they've been married. Like, so she can't even trace her life back to that lifestyle. Literally, right? Because again, then she now understood the culture of eating small bite sizes and all of that. Now, you even beg her to eat. She does not even have the. This was somebody that literally, if you did not heap the rice, so the rice was not a normal rice on the plate. It had to look like a mountain. It had to be bringing out
Yes.
steam. In fact, till this day, we laugh about it.
Like a volcano.
Yes, like a volcano. It had to be bringing out steam. That is the only way she would touch that plate. If it was not like that, she was not going to eat it. But all of a sudden, that mindset changed. When I also then noticed it, I know because my mom will always tell us, I never leave a plate with anything on it. I never leave a plate with anything, even if it's a grain of rice, you will not see it.
Yeah.
So when I studied my pattern of eating, I knew that what I needed to focus on was the portion. Because if, no matter how full I feel, if the plate, there's still food on it, I do not find myself throwing away that food. I will have to finish it. So that culture thing, just to collaborate with what you said.
What is
Sorry for the break in transmission. You're still watching What Are You Saying? #Ways. So, Mary, you were saying something before.
So yeah, human
had an
rights
interruption.
activists. I really kudos to such people because it can really be very annoying if
Yeah.
you're trying to fight a cause that to you is, as we're saying it now, it sounds very sane to us, but I can imagine speaking to these elders in the community. They've been alive for, let's even say, 50 years plus, and they're mentally, they're used to this thing. So not everybody is that open to change. Not everybody is open to this our new way of doing things, to say, oh, okay, yeah, you have right, the girl child. They're just looking at you like, what are you saying?
And
Do you
it's true.
get?
Some people might be
So
jubilating that,
it's not
thank God.
it's not an easy cause to fight, but
Yeah,
we have to
Thank
try
you, Mary. Just in
regardless.
line with what you said. So I just remember that this evening or afternoon, I saw in the news that the imams, they have a forum, imams forum, in Niger State, are asking the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to sack the Minister of Women Affairs for going to court on this matter.
The audacity.
So yes, like Mary said, it's easy to say it
It's
here.
a very
It is very dicey because it's
and
their
delicate,
tradition.
because
You really
it's their
cannot.
tradition. It's been
going to be
over how
hard.
many years before you and I were
So does it
born.
mean that tradition overpowers the constitution
shouldn't.
100%?
It shouldn't, but I'm sure that in their line of work, there should be a meeting point. And that is the reason why, whether the court decides, I think the court has given an injunction to halt the event.
Yeah.
So we would have to sit back and watch how this, unfolds.
Right.
Because there is the traditional side and then there's the legal angle. So I would love to sit back and watch as to how it will end up, because would the event happen? And if the event happens, is there going to be any repercussions, for, the constituents and for the individuals involved? It's going to be, I think it's going to be one of those cases that may or may not make it trend. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
And it can trend for different reasons. It can trend from the human rights angle, and it can trend from the traditional angle. So I would just love to see how this will pan out, because
Same
there
here.
are so many things that happens in Nigeria, and some of it swept under the rug within a couple of days. Some of it you just never hear the end of it. And you can wake up tomorrow morning and find out that Madam Uju has been sacked.
That
That's
would
the
be
sad part
crazy.
to it.
Yeah, it would be, but what will you do?
It means
That would be really, really sad.
There are very, very powerful people who believe in this stuff we're talking about.
It's going to be a difficult
So
fight.
it's going to, yes,
It's not
it's
going
going
to
to
be
be a
easy.
dicey. Nobody going into it. It would be wrong for her to think that she would raise dust like this and there won't be repercussions.
And you know
It
the
might
funny
not
thing?
be direct.
if she hadn't said anything, it would have still been a problem because she's the minister
Yeah.
of
Do you understand?
But she was
So
involved in the Abuja school students
been
bullying.
involved
so
in a lot
I
of-
like
a lot
how
of-
active she is.
I love
I'm
it
really
though.
rooting
So
for her.
she has a right to stand for for women.
Yeah.
She is the minister in charge of looking into the affairs of women in the nation. So in my opinion, she has every
her
right
job.
Yeah.
She
to
does.
take out
Exactly,
those
she's doing her
steps
She's
that
doing her
she
job.
took. But at the end of the day, like I said, we will see how it goes, because in Nigeria, you know how things go. 1 minute we are for the law, the next minute tradition takes over. So sit back and watch.
Yeah,
Right.
very true. Alera, I think we have a message.
Yes, I do. So we have a message here. Call me crazy, but whatever happened to educating these orphans and taking care of them? Why can't we train them to become professionals that can add value to the country and ultimately drive economy forward?
Right.
Why are these people so backward thinking? This is 2024. The child marriage idea is really absurd. These girls can be more. They are potentials. I can see Dora Quinley amongst them, Okonjo-Iweala amongst them, Onyeka Onwenu amongst them. This rigorous thinking is quite sad. We honestly need to do better. And this is from Ejiro Jaden.
She's obviously Igbo.
Like,
Dora Quinley.
no, but
It's a list
Onyeka
for me.
Onwenu.
but she's,
yeah.
the names that are really powerful.
I think it's a he, actually.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is
Because
a guy?
he usually drops messages.
Oh,
so it's a
thank
guy.
you so much for these comments, Ejiro. And you're right. These are powerful women that if they had gotten married off when they were young,
We might not have heard of them.
because first of all, to become a successful person in life, it takes a lot of practice of mental awareness. Like, you would have to fight a lot of personal demons, and
And
only
support.
God, do you know, and only God knows what you would have experienced to become that person. So you now want to dampen the potential entirely.
Shouldn't be so. Okay, so finally, I want us to touch on how we can hold our political officials accountable. I mean, like, for this speaker to say it openly that he wants these orphan children to get married. See the way they're looking at me. But yes, I mean, how can we? No. How can we? Oh, because you cannot just wake up one day and say this is a constituency project.
I don't know
How
how
can
they
we
choose
hold
their
them for?
Like of all the things that is needed to be done.
I don't know how they choose their constituency projects.
Because we put
But
them
I'm
there
sure
now.
that
I mean, the people put them there.
as
not
an
me.
intellectual and a professional,
Guess what?
before you
They
pick
are not intellectual.
before you pick a project, you would think of something that is impactful, sustainable, you know, something that brings about development, and something that is progressive.
They've given
Yeah?
you what the thing is doing now. They are preventing poverty and fornication.
So we should use it to hold body. I
Agenda
mean,
now.
okay.
That's their plan.
And that
All
is
right.
going to
So
increase
how else
the-
do you want to explain that again?
All right.
I feel like there could have been better projects. That's all I'm just
But I mean,
gonna
like,
say.
I love that you mentioned that they could have been better, and I just really hope that the Minister of Women Affairs sees this to the end, and I really hope that people support her, because it
Exactly.
is difficult fighting this battle on your
Alone.
own without the backing of, in quotes, strong people. So I just really hope that, you know, we hear good news concerning this. All right, so before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagram at Ways Show Africa and Official Upgrade TV. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and most importantly, follow all our social media engagements. And remember to like, share, comment, and invite your friends and family to watch us and follow us. If you missed today's quote, here it is again. Human rights are women's rights, and women's rights are human rights. This quote is by Hillary Clinton. We just, you know, properly ends this conversation, because really human rights are women's rights and women's rights are human rights.
I agree.
My
Women
lovely
need to be
ladies.
protected. We're meant to be
Exactly, we need to
protected.
be protected, and I mean, this is 2024. We just really hope that something is done immediately, not when they have been married off already and maybe, you know, they had their...
That's if they've not started matchmaking themselves. Say,
Yes, so
this,
pick your choice. God
you
have
know.
mercy. All right, thank you, ladies. It's always a pleasure having you ladies around. Thank you, NJ. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Alero. Thank you, everyone, for staying tuned. See you tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring yet another great conversation to your screen. My name is Shay Olara, signing out. Your name is what? Let's sign out like this.
My name
Nicole.
is Alera Boyo, signing out.
What's your name, girl?
My name is Mary Alma Williams.
NJ.
And I'm Angel Mera, signing out.
See ya. Bye.